Hello everybody, Helcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode, 345, I think it is. And today we're going to be talking about another vehicle, the Schiltron, or something like that. It's an 80-ton wheeled vehicle, carries a plethora of different weapons options. It is sort of like an Omni vehicle. I think it has like 10, 12 tons of space that you can put in the turret. Give you some options. It's got some fixed equipment too, which is kind of interesting. It is a 3.5 moving vehicle. It comes in roughly about 1,400 battle value. It has 10 tons of armor for 179. It does have ferrofibrous armor on board, so it does add a little bit. It has 10 heat sinks because it has an XL engine, and that allows you to put a bit more equipment on board. All right. The equipment is kind of interesting. All right, fixed equipment. It does have a C3 master in the body and a ECM, Guardian ECM, also in the body. That comes standard with all the different versions of this vehicle, which is kind of nice. So it gives you some options of building your lance structure when you bring one of these. You can have some eyes and ears out in front of you to help you do your work with the equipment that you have on board, tying in other, like some mechs or something of that nature. It kind of helps out, giving you some different options of what you want to do on the battlefield. Now, there's like 3 or 4, I think there's 4 different configurations of this vehicle. Let me check here. I think there's 4. No, there's 6 different other versions in the primary version. Now the primary version, which is kind of nice, it carries, obviously it has the set equipment, which is the Master and the Guardian. We have 2 Aero 4 systems. Yes, you heard that correctly. It's an artillery system on board. Out on the front slope, that's 30 tons right there, and then you have 8 tons of ammo to go with that, which is, in artillery terms, that is a lot. You're going to go through almost all of it pretty quickly. You're looking at 20 turns, which isn't bad, not bad at all. You park this thing behind some cover someplace, and you got some eyes and ears out front. You just rain down fire, blasting things. Infantry, beware. That includes any type of battle armor or even straight-legged infantry or anything of that nature. They're going to know that you're there, and they're going to be trying to stay out of sight, because the quickest way to kill any type of infantry is just drop Aero 4 on them, or any type of heavy artillery, because you do that, they start disappearing really quick, and it makes the other side really unhappy. So, now, the other thing we have is 2 medium lasers in a turret and 4 small lasers in the turret. So it gives it a little bit of in-close defensive mechanism to go with the artillery, because obviously with rocket artillery, you're going to have some long-range capability with these. We're talking map boards, not, most conflicts will happen within 23, depending on the area you're in, because you're going to have LRMs which are 21 or less, but you're talking map boards, like long range. Hitting targets. So if you got somebody out there that has a C3 slave on board, they can just oh, there, I want a little bit here, I want a little bit there, bam, bam. And it's like turns later, it just rockets in and impacts on the battlefield. So it's a lovely thing, right? So that's the primary configuration. I do like the primary configuration when it brings to the table, because even if you're playing at a shorter table where you got mech on mech action, this thing is almost direct firing its 2 primary weapons, which is the Aero 4, they will not like you at all, because it's an area effect weapon. So everybody gets indiscriminately blasted. Which, hey, I don't have a problem with if you're going to pay the points. And, you know, at 14, a little over 1,400 battle value, hey, to me it's money well spent. Now, there's a few other different versions of this vehicle. Obviously, since it's got kind of like an Omni-style configuration, so you can kind of mix match what you want to throw at it. I think it's like 10 or 12 tons that you can throw into the turret. So it's not overly a highly versatile configuration, but you know, you can do some things with it. Now, configuration A. All right, this one has 2 MRM-40s and 2 MRM-10s. So basically, you're kind of almost your deadfire missile systems. There's semi-guidance, but you know, they're a little cheaper when it comes to the tonnage. When you're looking at an MRM-40, you know, it comes in at what, 12 tons, I think it is. It kind of nice compared to having a pair of LRM-20s. All right, you're saving a little bit, but it comes at the cost of your hit modifiers. Trying to figure out the word that was going with that. The battle value of this little thing comes in at a little over 14.5, so it's a slightly more than the prime configuration. But you know, when you can throw tons of ammunition down range with the MRMs, hey, there's nothing to complain about. And you still have the configuration with the 2 medium lasers and the 4 small lasers for your up close and personal hitting of targets. So there's that. Now, the only thing I might have considered is maybe taking 2 of those small lasers and maybe configure it into small pulse laser or something like that. You know, a little bit something anti-infantry of that nature. All right. And let's see what else we got. There's the configuration B. This one carries 4 LRM-15s, and they all have Artemis fire control. So, yeah, you're going to get a little bit of, if they don't have ECM, like this thing has the ECM bubble. So, you know, it's not uncommon to see ECM in the later eras, like where this vehicle will pop its head up, running around with ECM, you know, shutting stuff down. That you just have to go with the flow. So a lot of times your Artemis may not be working. But I'd rather have Artemis over trying to use Beagle Probe. So, not Beagle Probe, but NARC beacon. Because the problem I always have with NARC beacon, you got to hit with it. And then the next turn, it actually goes into effect. So, yeah. That's one of the things I dislike about NARCs. But, hey, what can you do? Now, it also has, with the 8 tons of ammunition to go with that, which is a lot. You know, you're talking 2 tons per launcher. But, you know, you're talking 16 turns of fire with those LRMs. Hey, that's not bad. That'll keep you in the battlefield for a long period of time. But you only have 1 medium laser and 2 small lasers. That's not bad. You still get some close protection. Battle value comes in close to 14.5. So you're getting a little bit more than slightly more than what you had with the prime configuration. Even though the prime might be more useful in the long run, but you know you can do up to 40 damage on a single target with the prime versus possibly up to 60. But typically, yeah, you're looking at 6-9 damage per launcher with the LRMs. But you get the area effect with the arrows. So you got a group of vehicles or mechs or even infantry kind of bunched up, and you hit them with it. You know, they're going to know you. Your damage output will go greatly with the arrow, possibly. They're not spreading themselves out. Now, this is an interesting one. Configuration C. This one comes in just shy of 1100 battle value, but it has 4 large lasers. That's it, just 4 large lasers. It doesn't need any close stuff because, heck, large lasers go from 1 to 15. So, yeah, you have the capability of doing 32 points of damage and 8-point shots. So, you know, you're wrapping up 22 tons, I think it's 22 tons in heat sinks with this thing. But, yeah, that kind of tells you how many tons that you have. You got 42 tons of space on board this vehicle for putting in equipment, however you want to work it. Yeah, it's kind of versatile when it comes to this machine. And this would be your bodyguard per se. It's like if you had, let's say, a lance of these and 3 of them had the Artemis, or not, well, say 2 have arrow, 1 has the LRM, then 1 has the large laser as your bodyguard for up close for someone comes around the corner. You know, or I would be even 3 with the arrow system and then 1 bodyguard. So, yeah, it'd be an interesting little battle to see how that works out. But just kind of park it sorted near the other 3 and keep them spread out so if someone does have artillery themselves, they're not hitting all the same target, you know, that kind of thing. It goes both ways. You know, the other side may have artillery or even airstrikes. Well, yep. Configuration D. All right. Now, this one carries 2 rack 5s, slave to a target computer. So you get some tonnage wrapped up in a target computer. And you have the C3 master. So if you have somebody with a slave on board and they're out there at slightly at range, being your spotter, you could rip things up pretty good with this thing. Even if you put a decent gunner in it. And it has a LRM-15 with Artemis on board. So you got some indirect capability. And doesn't have any energy weapon backup. But when you got the racks, unless somebody gets right in your face, you know, where you got the minimum range problem, yeah, there's that. But that's not overly a big issue. And this one comes in at 1,600 battle value. So a little more expensive, but, you know, it's got plenty of ammo on board. Typically, most of the time when we're playing these things with racks, we usually, I'm going to shoot 3 or 4 shots, you know. So you got plenty of ammo to go for many turns. And the capability of dishing out some decent damage, you know, at 5-point blocks. Then you have the configuration E. All right, this one was introduced in Jihad. It has, all right, MML and autocannons. This one has 3 MML9s with 3 tons of ammunition, so you got some options there for how, probably, I would go most likely with your extended range and then your short range as your primary. I usually mix the don't mix the middle range stuff in very often. And then you're going to have a 3 light autocannons, light 5 autocannons, and with 2 tons of ammunition. That 2 tons will go a long ways with the light autocannons. So yeah, and it comes in as a little over 1,100 battle value. It has the capability of doing some good damage out at extended ranges, and then you have, if somebody comes in close in your face, then you got an extra ton to make up for dishing out some decent damage up close. And if you hit with all 9, whoo-wee, yeah, it's like with 3 points, that adds up pretty quickly. It's like they're going to know you're there, and they're going to not like you very much. So yeah, the configuration E is kind of an interesting one. I've never seen this configuration being played before. I've seen the standard arrow version many times, dropping artillery here and there, but never this configuration. So it brings up an interesting idea, maybe what to think about using. Then configuration F, the last one. All right, this one has 8. Yes, you heard this. 8 MML3s. And so some on the front slope, some in the turret, so it kind of spreads it out a little bit. And it has a pair of Thunderbolt 15 launchers with 6 tons of ammunition, and it's about 14.5 battle value. So I like the MML launchers, but the 2 Thunderbolt 15 launchers, I've never been a fan of Thunderbolt launchers. Especially if you get somebody, it's like, oh, they all got Artemis, or not Artemis, but anti-missile system. Yeah, your Thunderbolts are just pretty worthless then. They just like, oh, sorry, they're gone. Shoot those things down. No, nothing flat. So I would rather probably go with LRMs or just add more MMLs. Go that route. That would be kind of interesting, a little build, to be honest. Just with lots and lots of extended range stuff hitting you, and then if they come in close, you got a ton, maybe 2 of short range stuff. So yeah, it's one of those vehicles that can handle a few hits on it, but yeah, being a wheeled vehicle, there is that pluses to being a mobility killed real quick. So watch the flanks. So that'd be one of those things where you definitely want to hide it on. That's why I always like to see the Aero 4 version. It's just sitting there dropping artillery, and then sitting at the far back side of the table, just dropping bombs here and there. And then when someone decides they're out of ammo, or someone gets close and you want to save the gear, they can just back off the table. Kind of makes it useful. But if they are hitting you at the end of the table, things have probably gone south. So yeah, it's time to leave. So that is the Schiltron. So not a bad little vehicle for 80 tons. Not really little, but I'd say it's useful. It has its place, especially as I would always look at this thing as my fire support platform and its configurations, however you want to look at it. So there's some options with it. So take it out for a spin, proxy it, put it in the game, see how it works for you. All right, this is Hellcrex. Hellcrex out.